Welcome to the HR Empowerment Podcast, where we will uncover strategies and new insights from HR professionals who discuss up-to-date regulations, best practices, and the most pressing topics like diversity and equity, leadership, dealing with difficult situations, and much more that affect your bottom line and business. Thanks for joining us.
Hi, everybody. Wendy Sellers, the HR lady. This week's podcast will actually be a panel, and I will be a guest. So I'm going to hand this over to our moderator and a good friend of mine, JC. But before I do that, I wanted to just let you know what you're getting into over the next few sessions, which is talking about the facts of employees and candidates with disabilities. And in the end, you're going to see that you can discover a hidden gold mine of candidates and employees, especially in this world where it is very difficult to attract and retain talent. Hopefully you will learn a little bit about your processes at work and maybe some unconscious bias as well. So let's jump in.
And I'm JC, going to be the moderator and co-host of the program today, and we welcome you to Uncovering the Facts About Employees with Disabilities, a conversation with Wendy Sellers and Jeff Arsenault, returning back to the program. Going around the room to start things off. Jeff, how are you doing, sir?
I'm wonderful, JC. I want to take an opportunity to thank you for broadcasting this today. What a big deal for me is announcing my book, and I'll get to that a little later. But my name's Jeff Arsenault. I'm 50 years old, and I do have cerebral palsy, and it's a big deal for me. It's the brand. It's what we're talking about today is how can we include people like Jeff in the workforce?
And it's a fantastic topic that we're going to dig deeper into coming up momentarily. And let's please also welcome the HR lady, Wendy Sellers, to the program. Wendy, how are you today?
Fantastic, as usual. Living the dream down here in Florida.
The life by the beach. You can't beat it. Can't go wrong.
You know, you really can't go wrong. Well, you could, but that's a whole other topic for another conversation.
Totally different program for another time. Yeah. All right. So we do have a new book out, and we're going to be talking about that coming up momentarily. Jeff has a book called Just Call Me Jeff, My Life with Cerebral Palsy. You can find that on Amazon. We're going to dig into that coming up momentarily. But one of the key things is why this topic now, discovering hidden gold mines of candidates and employees, uncovering the facts about employees with disabilities. Why this topic right now? I want to ask that question to both of you. Whoever would like to take that first, please.
Yeah, I'll jump in first and then hand it over to Jeff since he's the expert at this. For me, I was introduced to Jeff from a friend of a friend, just very randomly. Not even a year ago, right, Jeff?
Yeah, it hasn't even been a year.
8 months ago. I don't even know. And it was just one of those, this is the person you need to know. And I was like, yep, on it. That's it. And I mean, I was so impressed by talking to Jeff, who is hilarious, by the way, that, he said, I'm writing a book. So I've written 2 books. All right, we're getting this done. And then, of course, I drove him crazy and put him on a plan. And this is what you're doing and everything. But it just, for me, the HR lady, my clients are calling me every single day, multiple times a day, that they can't find people. Where did all the people go? If you look at any of my other podcasts, my articles, I must say it's, 7 times a week. I'm going to tell you where all the people went is, first of all, we've had there's the baby boomers, a boom of babies. Well, guess what? They all retired and we didn't replace them. So not all of them retired, but a lot of them retired. And, during the pandemic, even more retired, and we did not replace them with another boom of babies. And so I just think, after I met Jeff and I have other friends with disabilities, I'm like, we are missing a gold mine of candidates and employees who are freaking awesome. And we're missing them because we're not looking past their disabilities. And so for me personally, that's why now, I can't really even say post COVID, but still in the COVID age where we can't find employees, we're missing an entire set of employees who are here, capable, willing, able to work, and we're just overlooking them.
Question for you, though. You said overlooking them, but like looking past their maybe not fully considering them. What exactly do you mean by that? A lot of hiring managers just might see a disability like that on a resume and throw it out the window, or maybe not have the proper consideration on the table?
Yeah, and it certainly, it probably wouldn't be on a resume that says I have a disability.
Could you imagine? Could
right?
you imagine, right? Don't put that. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, if you are doing your resumes, no need to put that on the cover sheet, okay? You leave that off the paperwork. No need to do that. Don't put that on there. Don't put your picture on there. You don't have to do that either.
So, and we can even talk about that a little bit too, about on the job applications where, we'll talk about that in a little bit about the job applications and where it says, do I need an accommodation or not? So I've got some information on that too. But it's more of like they see the person physically, they hear the person, and they either see that there may be a disability. Of course, not all disabilities are visual, or they hear and it freaks them out.
Yeah.
That's really what it is. I like to think that most people aren't jerks and completely consciously biased against people with disabilities. So we'll leave that right there.
Sure.
Some people are, but I think it really just scares people, hiring managers, and they don't know what to do.
Jeff,
and
do you concur? Do you feel that same pain, Jeff? Have you seen that out there?
I do. And I'd like to share a story with you.
I think we lost you there.
Don't mind about this topic. I was a manager in a grocery business, and I was a hiring manager. And I had an interview set up. And on goes a young lady with cerebral palsy. So every bone in my body wanted to interview her. So during the interview, as a manager, I'm thinking about what she won't be able to do. Versus today, I'm out of management, and I'm thinking, what will she be able to do? And let me tell you, JC, what she will and what he will be able to do far exceeds what she won't be able to do. But we as a culture, we as a business world, we need to start asking a question, what can they do instead of what can't they do? So when I speak, when I advocate, which I'm not a big fan of that word, because when I hear the word advocate, I hear charity. And charity is not something I'm looking for. I'm looking to make a difference for the Wendy Sellers of the world. I'm looking to make a difference for the JCs in the world. Yeah. I want to be involved in what I do for a living.
But more so treated equal and fair in a way, rather than looked past or looked down upon, or maybe not even looked at. Just viewed as an equal that has strengths and things that you could bring to the table just as strong as anybody else out there. Is that right?
Right. And I think the question that you brought up that Wendy responded to is, why now? And I challenge y'all, have y'all been in the workforce today? Have y'all worked with Jeff today? There's a lack of enthusiasm. There's a lack of energy in our workforce that we can make a direct impact from day one.
I hope that you tune in tomorrow to discuss training managers.
Thank you for joining the HR Empowerment Podcast, brought to you by Aurora Training Advantage. We hope you've gained new insight and strategies to navigate the HR profession. We look forward to you joining us again on the HR Empowerment Podcast.